the council had to make a decision on either making a small adjustment to the tax rate or laying off 210 people. So I thought that was really irresponsible, and I said, okay, this is sealing the deal. We need to be more fiscally responsible, and I want to be a part of the council. I ran in 2010. I was first elected as a District 3 councilwoman. So I said, okay, I'm ready to step up to the plate as mayor.
What's up, guys? We're here for another episode of the Discipline Legacy Podcast. Have an amazing guest today. Shannon Martin from City of Port St. Lucie is here. We've interacted a few times in the field, and you know, it's been great to see, you know, everything that's been going on, and you know, obviously with the podcast, like I just want to hear people's stories. Like, people get to see, you know, folks in certain positions, but like, just hear who you are, like what you've been through, where you're from, all those things. So,
sure.
You know, I'm really grateful that you were able to come out today and be a part of this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. So I've moved to Florida 20 years ago with my husband, who is a police officer with our Port St. Lucie Police Department. He's a lieutenant. Our children were toddlers at the time, and we moved to Florida because we wanted a better way of life for our family. And then I started getting involved in what was going on with the city because my family was growing up in Port St. Lucie,
Right.
and my husband, you know, is a police officer.
So he came here, he already had the job as a police officer.
So what he did was he had to come down and test for the Florida test for law enforcement.
And then, sorry, where'd you come from?
So we lived in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Was born in Florida.
Okay.
But then I was raised in Stamford, Connecticut. And so, but fast forward, I met my husband actually in Stamford, Connecticut, because he was from New York.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then he was a Baltimore City police officer at the time when I met him. So it was just...
So he was already in the field.
Yes, he was already in the field. But then we decided to move to Port St. Lucie, and I wanted to be involved in the community. I wanted to know what was happening. Obviously, Port St. Lucie, even back in 2006, was a fast-growing community.
Yeah.
So I was a paralegal, and I started watching council meetings. I started attending them. I started going to planning and zoning meetings. And from my work in the legal field, I was very familiar with contracts, very familiar with planning and zoning, did a lot of real estate work. So all that was really interesting to me. And there was a female council member at the time who I really looked up to as a mentor. Mm-hmm. And with the knowledge that I was gaining, and plus with her mentorship, I was like, if she can do this, I can do this. And I want to do this and serve the community. So that's really how I got started.
What was it that like interested you in wanting to want to get involved in the council stuff? Because like, was it something that was going on with the city that like made you want to get involved, or was it just curiosity, or?
Just curiosity because of the fact that I knew I was raising my family here, and I wanted to be a part of what was going on, at least be in the know of what was going on. At least be in the know, yeah. But then at the time, what really sealed the deal for me to decide to run was at that time, the council had to make a decision on either making a small adjustment to the tax rate or laying off 210 people. And
this was in 2006?
This was in 10.
Okay.
And also taking out of the reserve fund and lowering the reserve fund to 4%. And to me, that was very fiscally irresponsible.
Yeah.
Because we know that we have storms in Florida, right?
Yeah.
So your reserve fund is for emergencies.
Yeah, issues that happen, yeah.
And so by lowering it to 4%, which was not the recommendation of the city manager who runs the city and runs the city budget, they decided to lower it. And if a storm came, it would wipe out the entire reserve fund. And then the city would have to borrow money in order to get themselves out of whatever happened with regard to a hurricane, with any disasters that would happen, So I thought that was really irresponsible, and I said, okay, this is sealing the deal. We need to be more fiscally responsible, and I want to be a part of the council.
Be the
to make-
change.
be the change to start making decisions that were moving the city in the right direction. Change is hard. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be able to make hard decisions sometimes.
Well, I think that you said it too. Like that's important. It was I picked up on the part where you said like mentorship. So like you had somebody that you were looking up to, somebody that was like you were kind of bouncing stuff off of. So I guess like talk about that a little bit, because it sounds like maybe that was what put you in the direction of wanting to be more involved, and the importance of mentorship too.
Yeah, so it was former councilwoman Michelle Berger, and she was very direct, very straightforward, very fact-based, wasn't afraid to say what she felt was right. She didn't do the dog and pony show. She didn't sugarcoat, and my personality is very similar to that. Yeah. I'm going to be fact-based. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to give you the truth. We may not always agree. You may not like certain things that I have to say, but you're always going to get honesty, openness, and transparency. And that's how I've always operated. And I learned from her because, when you're getting into politics, we know what politics is like, right? Some people sugarcoat, some people twist facts, some people do whatever they can to get elected. But that's not my personality. My personality is I'm not going to do those things. I'm going to be real and be me. And like I said, I'll give it to you straight. And that's, like I said, how I've been all along. And she even coached me and said, yeah, don't worry about, playing a game, or don't worry about, with the political realm. Just be you. Be your authentic self. And that was really great. And I have been.
I think authenticity, definitely for me and my background, I kind of had like a crazier upbringing. So like having lived in the street mentality and having like people. So like you can kind of call BS sometimes when you see it. So
right.
I think, and a lot of folks can. So if you can have that authentic self and people will pick up on it, and you can gain that trust and respect. And like, I personally have that as well. Like, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, what state, city you're from, like I can still get along with you. Right.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like what's best for, recently I've become more like, I'm not involved, but more interested in what's going on with the area that I'm growing up in. I have grandkids now. My son goes to school here. Like, maybe it happened a little later for me, but now I'm like more interested in it. And, I see that like we should all be able to get along and come to a common goal of like what's best for our community, everybody that's in it, and our kids, our grandkids. So
absolutely.
But
that's what it's about.
But yeah, so I guess keep going with that part. It's crazy. The mentorship thing keeps coming up. So like, it's just funny that you said that because.
Yeah. And so I ran in 2010. I was first elected as a District 3 councilwoman. That's for the southwest portion of the city. And then in 2016, the mayor at the time appointed me vice mayor. And then he left his role early in 2021. So he didn't serve the full term to 2022. And we had a special election. So I said, okay, I'm ready to step up to the plate as mayor. And I had to do it again in 2022 for the full 4-year term. And I love serving. I love serving our community. It's definitely not easy, especially with all the challenges that we have faced over the past 5 years with the growth.
If you're serious about your health, hormones, and performance, Lifestream Wellness has the tools to get you there. BPC 157, Semaglutide, Ipamorelin, NAD, TRT, HRT. These are physician-guided protocols that Lifestream Wellness corners the market in. Visit lifestreamwellness.com. Use code LEGACY for 25% off. Yeah.
Also, the challenges of you have residents who have been in our city since 1961, since the inception of our city. It was incorporated. And then we have had a lot of new residents moving in.
Oh, yeah.
So it's trying to find what that balance is, because the people who have been here the longest don't like the growth and the change, and the people that are moving here are for growth and change. So how do we work together to find what that balance is so that we can serve everybody and serve the majority?
Yeah.
And also, a lot of people don't realize that we're not a strong mayor form of government in Port St. Lucie. We're a council manager form of government. I have the same vote as every other council member. And I don't run the day-to-day operations of the city. That's the city manager's
Right.
job. But a lot of people come here because when they do, they have come from cities or places that have strong mayor, and they think that that's my role here.
Right.
And I like to share that it's not, and talk about really what our form of government is like. And again, I only have one vote, but I am the longest serving member. And what I love about our council that we have now is that we may not always agree on everything, but we are in alignment because we follow a strategic plan, which is a mission and a vision, and it keeps us all in alignment together. And also that even if we do disagree and we walk off the dais, we let it go and we move on and we keep moving forward for the benefit of our residents, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I've been on a council that was very destructive. When I first got elected in 2010, that there were a lot of personality conflicts, and we weren't able to get a lot done, and it was really stressful because that's what I was there for. I was there to, get things done and work for our residents. So I always think about that and how leadership is important, how working together is important, whether it's your council, whether it's your county commission, because it takes all of us working together for our community. It's not just me, it's the council or just administration. We need our county partners, our state partners, our federal partners, everybody in the community, all of our stakeholders, in order to make our city the best it can be.
So I think like the biggest thing too, it sounds like, is communication and being able to communicate with all aspects, right? Like all the players, like you said. So
yeah, and you have to have the knowledge to do all that as well, because
speak confidently on it.
Yeah, it's a lot to learn. It's a lot to.
I'm
decipher.
learning. I'm just gonna ask you, like, how does that the council how does that work? I'm learning about politics every day. So
yeah. So our roles are to be the liaison between the government organization, right, and represent the people for what the people want. So there's a lot of learning. Excuse me. You have to learn about our budget, right? You have to learn how our planning and zoning codes work, because every development project that comes in, by law, our local planning agency and our planning and zoning board, we have to hear the applications. We have to have them go through the process, no matter what the end result is. So that takes time to learn. It's about a 2-year learning curve just to really get your feet wet and
is
really
there like a school like they put you through, or like
No.
just like
No.
here's this book, like read it? And
No, there's no book.
Really?
No, you do get an orientation when you first get elected about the sunshine laws, about how the city operates, about how our meetings work, right? Protocols, procedures. But that's it. You're on your own. You're on your own to, there's
so it's
guidance.
basically up to every single person to absorb the information they need to absorb. So I guess there's a level of integrity that comes with it that, you got to do your part.
And that's why our professional staff is so important, right?
Yeah.
So because we're supposed to be policymakers, but our staff are the professionals in their respective roles that help guide us in making our decisions. So, we have professional planners, we have professional engineers, our public works guys are amazing. Obviously, learning about law enforcement, right? Public safety is always top priority. Learning about the city's finances and how we have to follow the government accounting standards. And there's so much to learn, but we do have a lot of professional people there that guide you and help you learn all of that. And things change all the time. Laws change every year. So we have to also be up on the law. We need our legal department to be able to help us interpret, what we can and cannot do, because we get a lot of unfunded mandates from our state legislature. So, but yeah, it's a learning curve in the beginning. I'd say for the first 2 years, I sat pretty quiet because that's how I learned. I process, I look, learn, listen, and then I don't open my mouth until I'm confident in what I know that I'm speaking about. So for the first 2 years, it was a listen, learn, and observe, take the information, process, and then from there, it started getting a little bit easier. But everything is still a learning process.
Right.
Because
every day we're learning, every day, no matter what it is.
Yeah. And you can never go into a day thinking that you know everything, because you don't.
That's
Because
true.
things are going to pop up, and you're going to have to ask questions and then be willing to learn and make decisions based on new information
Yeah.
as well.
Adapt and overcome. That's what I tell people about construction. Like, you can go to school for it, but there's no like book that tells you exactly how to overcome. Like, and my son, he's like, Dad, why do I need to know algebra? I'm like, I use algebra every day, like problem solving, being able to figure out situations, come to a conclusion. But I guess, so you've been in it for a while. And I guess talk about what were like was probably like the most adverse time that you went through since you've been in office. That one particular instance or.
So the most adverse was back in the day when we had people not getting along and we weren't able to get things done. The more recent thing that was very difficult to overcome and deal with was, if you remember, when we had the solid waste crisis, or what we commonly refer to as Trashmageddon.
Is that the
Back
FWC or the FEC or whatever it is when they changed from Waste Management or whatever, or
Yes,
Waste Pro?
so it was Waste Pro, now FCC, when we had 6 weeks of garbage at the curb. And when you have residents calling, emailing, messaging every day, 24/7, right? And trying to figure out how you're going to deal with this situation, right? And especially since when it comes to the contract, the management of that is city manager staff. The management is not policymakers, which are council members, but who gets the phone calls, it was a horrible time. Our staff had to take many angry phone calls, many angry emails, getting screamed at, over the phone. It was very, very stressful to eat, sleep, and breathe that for that good year and a half. But we kept moving forward. We did what we had to do. We had to go get a new contract. We had 6 months to do it, and our amazing team made it happen because we had to. Solid waste collection is a basic tenet of government service, right?
Yeah. It's important.
It is. You need clean water. You need your garbage picked up, and you need to be able to call 911 and have officers or firefighters respond.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I remember with that is, and I'm a Fort Pierce boy, born and raised, White City off of Midway. Mm-hmm. So like I've moved to Port St. Lucie like later in my life, and like I didn't even want to claim it because I was always a Fort Pierce,
Sure.
But I actually enjoy to say that I live, like people ask me where I'm from, I say I live in Port St. Lucie. Like I've gotten to experience other places in the world, and just like when I come back, I'm like, man, we have a beautiful place to live. Like all of our streets are nice. Like, and I mean I look at the positive things instead of the negative things. I don't dwell on it. Like I had my issues with the trash stuff, and I was using the can, right? I had another can that like it was an old one that I still had that I paid like $200 for, and they were picking it up for a while. Like I didn't say nothing,
right? And
they kept picking it up, and I think just recently they left it. But that's all it took was that, and they put a tag on it, said, "Oh, we can't take this. You got to get the green one or whatever the other color." Mm-hmm. And my wife's like, "Oh, you miss 1 week, you're done." Like. If you forget to take the garbage out, so what do? You don't forget to take the garbage out.
Yeah. So we do have a ballot measure going on, the November ballot, because we've had residents ask for another collection pickup, going back to twice a week. We did a citizen survey, and we said, this was 2 years ago, and we said, for an additional fee, would you like another garbage pickup? Well, 86% of the survey takers, and it was scientifically valid, so they do a random sampling, which you can rely on, said no. However, we still got requests for going back to twice a week. So the council and I decided to put a measure on the ballot this November, asking residents, do you want our second pickup? And if you do, it's going to be an additional cost. Are you willing to pay for that?
Right.
And so we're going to let the residents decide now.
Yeah.
So, and
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think if anything happened from it, like it's helped a lot of small businesses be created for like especially like the bulk stuff. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of trash removal companies and stuff that are feeding their families off of this,
right.
and it's it doesn't have to come out of the taxpayers' budget or whatever. But I think that's one good thing that's definitely come from it, because I didn't see that a lot years ago.
Right.
And then I remember in there's people that take advantage of it too. Because when I lived in St. Lucie County, like they had bulk tree trimming pickup, and I had a landscaping business, so I just take my stuff to the house and they'd pick it up and take it. So, but now that where the trash removal facility was here in Port St. Lucie is going to be the new Public Works building, right?
Yes. Yeah, that facility was always meant to be temporary as a stopgap. And then when we did our analysis, because everything we do, we use data and analysis to make decision making. We just don't willy-nilly say, okay, we're going to do X, Y, Z. So when we did the analysis, we learned that only about 24% of our residents were actually using that site. And the cost for that site kept going up and up because more people were using it. And a lot of contractors were using it, which they weren't supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be taking their stuff to the landfill. And then the cost for FCC to come in and use the clam trucks and put it all in the clam trucks and then haul it. I mean, we were up over the $3 million mark.
Yeah.
For 24% of the residents using it. From a fiscal standpoint, it wasn't feasible anymore. And those costs would have kept going up. And that was general fund money because that wasn't even part of the solid waste assessment that's on your tax bill. We had to go over and above using general fund dollars. So in looking at that, we said, yeah, this is not fiscally responsible, so we're going to close it. And it was meant to be temporary anyway. And then, yes, the new Public Works building is going to be going there.
Yeah.
That's 15 years in the making, believe it or not.
So it was always supposed to be there, or?
No, it was in the backside of that property is used by Public Works already for millings and equipment and trucks and things. We were going to put it at the Thornhill site, which is the current Public Works facility, and it's also the fleet maintenance area.
Okay.
But with the growth and having more cars and having more need for more fleet management, and then looking at where can we locate the building that's central to the city that we already own the land.
Yeah.
That's really the perfect location, especially as our fleet has grown as well.
What's the plan for growth as far as the city standpoint goes? I know it's definitely growing. As far as, you know, is there plans to continue to move city facilities west, or kind of keeping the infrastructure guy? I know they just built the new police station because I was a part of that beginning stages of that anyway. Yeah,
so that's the police training facility that's on the municipal campus. We purchased the QVC building, the vacant old QVC building on Peacock.
Oh, wow. That's city got that. I noticed they were redoing the roof and everything.
Yep. And our building department that is currently on the municipal campus is moving to that building.
Really?
With a couple other smaller departments that the city manager is going to make a determination of what needs to move over there. And then the police department is going to be taking over Building B because we're focusing on a real-time public safety operations center, because now technology obviously has come to the forefront. We're never going to be able to hire enough officers, right, to serve the entire city, and especially as it continues to grow. The police department has gone to technology, drone as a first responder program. We want to be able to see on every single screen we possibly could put in there the entire city, so that Public Works and our police department can work together for any roadway design issues, traffic issues, and being able to see in real time what's happening on the ground at our intersections. And then also, again, for police response times, cutting police response times down even further. So they're going to be taking over that building. And then we only have one community center in the entire city, right? Because of the way we were planned and designed. So the county sold the city the tax collector building, and that's at Mid-Florida, right next to Mid-Florida. So half of our community center is used by Parks and Rec Administration. So Parks and Rec Administration is going to be moving over to that building, and then we are going to be able to renovate the community center for more rentable space for the community.
Okay. We're talking about the community center that's by the police station on
Anaroso.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because it's maxed out. It's very difficult to get
It's
space.
been a while since I've been in there.
Yeah. So this way we'll be able to open that up more to the community. And then also in City Hall, we've needed more office space. So being able to move some of the departments will open up more office space. Our city manager needs a bigger conference room to have his department head meetings as well. So he'll be able to take some of the floor space from the finance department because they're going to move over to the new Peacock building. And so we'll have more room for the organization to grow.
Nice.
As well as the city, because the city's going to keep continuing to grow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what about west? Is there anything planned for out west yet, or is it just kind of wait until development happens? Or
for city buildings, no. We're trying to keep things centralized, but there's more park space to be built out there. So there's potential for future buildings, like maybe 5-10 years from now.
Yeah.
Maybe closer to 10 years from now, if it's necessary, because all the developers are required to give land for civic purposes
Right.
in addition to park land. So we do have the space for it. It's just a matter of holding on to it to see how things develop. Because Stars and Stripes Park just opened. We just opened
Yep.
that. Tradition Regional is going to open. And then the city is able to acquire 3 more 50-acre parcels from the developers that are out west that they have to turn over to the city for park land.
They're just it's just going to be parks.
It's that, yeah. Well,
But you could do whatever you wanted there, but there's a lot allocating that for civic purposes.
Yeah, so there's the civic sites and then there's the park sites. So
Gotcha.
what the city manager is trying to do is get the 3 park sites contiguous so we can have in the future, later on down the line, one big 150-acre park in the future.
Okay.
We're always planning for the future.
That's the one thing that I've noticed is that, like, obviously growing up here and being one of those weird people that's born and raised here, is that, like, I've seen the city since, I remember when Rosser was a dirt road or going out west to where Veranda was a dirt road.
Yeah.
St. James was dirt whenever I was growing up early on. And then Rinker, which is, we called it Rinker, but it was Torino.
Right.
We used to ride our go-karts out there. My dad used to take us out there
Yeah.
and seeing it, all the change, like Becker you turned to get off of 95 at Gatlin, and right there it was a fence and the end of the road, all cow pastures, and just to see how everything's changed. And like, I'm actually from here, so I like to see the development. I like to see the beautiful parks that we can take our kids to, like the park at the river, the Port District.
Yeah,
That's
Pioneer.
That's like Disney status to an extent. Like there's certain places that don't barely have like a playground with some swings on it, and we have beautiful things. I like I said, I claim Port St. Lucie and I pay taxes to have nice stuff.
Absolutely. So it's funny when you talk about Pioneer Park, because when we started talking about the park in that area, we knew it had to be special. We knew it had to be a destination point and a wow
because
factor.
the port of Port St. Lucie didn't have a port.
That's right. So we wanted to put the port in Port St. Lucie somehow, some way. So what we did was, because in addition to be a public safety champion, and that goes to public works, police safety, its quality of life is so important, right? So our park system is so important. So I became a champion of our parks as well. And I went with our staff and we looked at several different parks around the state and around the country. And we said, what can we do to bring a wow factor and destination point? So Pioneer Park is a meld of several parks that we saw, but it's most closely aligned.
Where was, go ahead.
So Round Rock, Texas,
Okay.
had a conference out there and looked up the parks and how they had award-winning parks out there. Maggie Daley Park in Chicago, and how nature-oriented it was, literally in the heart of the city of Chicago. Another park in Illinois, I can't remember the city that it was in. And then Hammock Hollow, which is the park located at Lake Wales Bach Tower.
Okay. I've never
And
been there. I've heard of it.
It is beautiful. And when we got there, we saw it was very nature-oriented and very kid-themed, but the most intriguing part about it, believe it or not, which is the most simplest thing, is it had this rolling hill where kids can just be kids, not without tons of amenities, and just roll down the hill.
Yeah.
Right? I know I did that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did that when you were a
I grew up
kid.
going to White City Parks. It was like a rusty slide and the merry-go-round that was like the death mobile.
So and especially since people wanted more elements of more nature and more trees and some more shade. So I was like, well, how can we bring this all together? And so we took all those concepts, melded them together with all those different parks.
It's right by the botanical garden, so you have
And it came out beautiful, and so it'll be open 2 years this month, and we've had over 671,000 people visit that park. Wow. So we use AI.
Oh, really?
Yep, we have this program where we look at all of our city events and where our destination points are and where people are coming from, where they're going to, how long they stay, because we want to see what the visitorship is. The data. Again, data is so important for making determinations about what we need.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Now, what about the older buildings that are there? Those, I know they were renovating them.
Oh, the History Museum.
Is that what that is?
Yes. So the Peacock House and the Peacock Lodge came from the Peacock family, O.L. Peacock family.
Yep.
The hunting lodge and the house. And so we moved those over to the location that they're at now. We renovated the lodge. The Historical Society leases the space inside, and there's a historic museum. Port St. Lucie History Museum is in there. And then we will be renovating the house as well.
Okay.
So, and
I'll have to check it out. I didn't know it was open.
Oh, yeah. The History Museum is open. You should definitely check it out. It's really cool in there. Yeah, and they did a good job.
You said O.L. Peacock because I think we were part of the beginning stages of that, but that's that big lake. Was that was a mine at one point, like a sand mine or dirt mine? Mm-hmm. And then you guys just got that as well? Yeah,
we are. So that's actually, that one's Rosser Lake Preserve, but the Peacock, O.L. Peacock has a pond on it, a lake on it too, and that one's under renovations right now to add amenities to that one. Rosser Preserve, which we just acquired to keep as preserve land, has the 2 mining lakes on it and already has trails. Okay. It's already open to the public and being used. It's really
So it
beautiful.
already had trails on it?
Already had trails on it.
Just from people that were going out there and using the space like without, or...
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Jumping the fence without permission, yeah.
I remember when that was a dirt pit when I was a kid. They used to haul dirt out of there.
Yeah.
And then Torino's next. That's like the big talk of the town.
Torino's next. Torino was a promise that was promised many, many, many years ago. And then when the Great Recession hit, everything got dried up back in 2008. And so they said, okay, we have to scale back. We can't fund the park anymore. Because usually that's what happens, right? When you have to do priorities, you
grants and you help out, but it's obviously priorities come first.
Right.
More important stuff.
So, but now we're finally embarking on Torino.
Is there a water park going there from what I heard?
There's a splash pad going there. Splash pad, okay. Yeah, we're doing splash pads. Water parks are extremely expensive.
Yeah.
To install and construct, and then 2, more importantly, maintain.
Yeah.
So we have a splash pad at Pioneer. And we have to follow state health regulations with regard to that. And the water levels have to be just right. If the chlorine or the pH is off, there's monitoring systems on that. And if they get off, then we have to shut it down, and it has to be maintained, and there has to be maintenance, and they have to redo the chlorine, and it's like a pool.
Right.
It literally has to be maintained in a very similar fashion. So that's time consuming and really tedious to make sure all those levels are right.
And costly,
all the time.
Yeah.
And then, anything that has to do with water deteriorates faster.
Yep, rusting and with chlorine and all that, yeah.
So so that's why we have never embarked on like a water park, because it's just not feasible for maintenance purposes. But
did you guys talk to other municipalities about that? Because I know Martin has one, and there's like Riviera has one.
Yeah, so the one in Martin, Sailfish Splash, the first 2 years it was profitable, but then it started having to be subsidized by the general fund, and that gets really costly.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, and we visited some other parks too in different places around the country. And where it's more feasible is that they're not open year round in other places. They're only open during season because they have to get the colder weather.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, and they also have, they're funded by parks districts. So it's not general fund money. It's kind of like Friends of the Parks or a parks district, which is a special taxing district.
Right.
For you pay based on utilization. So those funding mechanisms are different than what we have here. We'd have to operate it year round, and that would be even more costly.
It's like Disney. Like, you can only go there so many times before you're like, oh, I'm tired of it. So the locals would just be.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 2 hours away, right?
From anything.
Yeah.
South or north.
Right.
So, yeah.
But the splash pads, definitely. We're going to have another one in Torino. We're going to have a skate park in Torino. We're going to have the first of its kind in the world BMX facility in Tradition Regional Park. Adaptive all-wheel. You could BMX, you could skateboard, you can rollerblade, you
That's
can roller
almost done,
skate.
right?
It should be done September. The whole park should be done in September.
Nice.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
That was 100+ acres there. That all the parks, man. Everything that's going on right now, like I'm like in awe. We just had my son's flag football out there at Riverland, and it's I love it. I love to see it.
Yeah, and actually, GL built that park.
Right, and that's talk about that too, because I think some folks don't realize that the way that you guys kind of structure the development is that, like, you don't really come out of pocket with a whole lot of stuff, and the way that you guys have planned the city's growth is and I think you've been a part of that, because it's been, and since you've been a part of it, that you guys are able to structure that and
yeah. So they have to give parkland, but then they can use parks impact fees, which they have to pay.
Well, roads too, right? Isn't it roads and impact fees? And
they pay we call them mobility fees now. We switched them from impact to mobility, because mobility fees you can use for more than just capacity. You can build sidewalks, you can build roundabouts, and have more flexibility with the dollars. Or impact fees, you could just add capacity, like lane miles. So for roads, we went to mobility fee plan. They have to pay for parks. They have impact fees. They have to pay for public building impact fees and law enforcement impact fees. So they have impact fee credits. And so GL also built Riverland Paseo Park with their impact fee money. And we partnered with them. They worked with Parks and Rec. We had our community input meetings. We knew we needed more ball fields for multi-purpose for, soccer, football. We got lacrosse coming in now, and they can use similar fields. So that was a great partnership, right?
Yeah.
Because the developers, as you probably know, they can get it done cheaper than government can. So that's why we partnered with them there. And then, of course, Mattamy with Tradition Regional and Stars and Stripes.
Yep.
So
and then there's Stars and Stripes have the nature trails too that are happening right now.
Yes. And that park is a real passive park dedicated to our military and first responders. And it's supposed to be that way, because the other issue we had is that some residents would go out to try to use a ball field with their kid just to throw the ball around, right? And they couldn't, because we have all the leaks. So they would say, well, I'm a citizen and I pay for this park. I can't get on any of these ball fields. So what's great about Stars and Stripes, it's a passive park, tons of field space. So if you want to go out there and throw a football with your child, kick around a soccer ball, that space is open to you to do that. You can have a picnic out there. There are restrooms out there. So it's meant for that passive recreation that you can just go hang out with your family if you want to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, I guess at this moment in time, is the biggest challenge that the city faces?
The biggest challenge is still managing the growth with the resources that we have in order to put in the infrastructure, because our costs are still going up quite significantly. Our costs for projects have tripled. So just as similar as everything, our budgets are going up because of bread's more expensive, meat's more expensive, gas has been more expensive. So whatever happens in the world economy or the U.S. economy affects what happens in city government as well.
Yeah.
And every project has gone up triple. And so when you get your first cost estimate in for a road construction project, you try to base a budget based on the estimate, but by the time the design is done, and then the design costs have gone up, by the time the construction numbers come in, those numbers have gone up. And now you have to figure out, well, we promised we were going to get this done. So now how can we leverage our resources to make sure we can afford to do it?
Right.
And that has been a big challenge. And then also, the issues with property tax reform. So all in favor of property tax reform because we've lowered our millage rate in the city 10 years in a row.
Right.
As we've continued to grow. But if what's on the ballot, going to be on the ballot, actually gets on the ballot and passes, we're going to have to look at our priorities and see what is going to happen because the city, like many other cities,
Right.
is going to lose a substantial amount of revenue.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to see what that looks like. Preliminarily, the staff is working on it, but let's wait and see what happens because that's all we can do. It's up to the voters of the state of Florida to make a decision.
Yeah.
So, and we'll deal with it. Like you said, adapt, pivot, and figure it out.
That's it. You're training hard, you're eating right, but the scale won't move. It's not always a willpower problem. Sometimes it's a hormonal one. Lifestream Wellness offers GLP-1 programs, Semaglutide, tirzepatide, all physician-guided and delivered to your door. Go to lifestreamwellness.com and use code LEGACY for 25% off.
And that's what we'll do.
So is that like a fear or just more like a prepare if it happens kind of deal or?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is a concern. I wouldn't go so far as say, oh, it's a fear, but it's a concern. But you have to be prepared. We'll be prepared. We'll figure it out. We're probably going to run with a very flat budget this year in anticipation of what may happen next year. So that goes in that preparing phase. So that's being worked on now because the city manager had a budget prepared, and now with this, and we still have to get our final numbers from our property appraiser. So we'll see what that looks like.
Is that affecting like projects that are slated to start?
Yes, it will affect projects, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't know it's going to happen in November, but if you start a project now and then you're in the middle of it when that stuff happens, so.
Yeah. So we also had a plan to, bond out a bunch of projects because they're so expensive, right? And you don't want just your existing residents paying for everything. You want to spread the payments out over time so that as new people move in and are utilizing the roads and the parks, you want them to share in the responsibility.
Right.
But we're going to have to wait and see now because you have to have the collateral to pay back the debt.
Yeah.
So we're not going to jump ahead and start bonding things out if we know that we aren't going to have the funds to, pay back the debt. Of course, we would do that. So we'll have to. It's going to be a lot of wait and see what happens, but getting prepared the best we possibly can in the interim.
Is that going to affect the soccer stadium?
No. Good question. Thank you for bringing that up. The soccer stadium is not paid with any city money whatsoever.
Okay.
The developer of this and the ownership group is paying for every bit of that. We are not coming out of pocket for infrastructure. We're not paying for anything to operate and maintain that building. They are giving the city 24 days a year, which is actually more than their utilization of it, for use.
Right.
Which we can have our events in because since it's right at Mid-Florida. So we're not paying for that.
Is that the whole complex there is they're paying for, or is because there's Walton and one is that it's going to be like downtown, right?
Right. It's part of Walton.
We're going to have a downtown.
So you know where the parking garage is currently?
Right.
All the land that's like 6 acres that's in front of that, that is where the soccer stadium is slated to go.
Okay.
And what they are eligible for, so are you familiar with CRAs, Community Redevelopment Agencies, how they work? I'm not. So it's really important. If properties are in a community redevelopment agency, there's a boundary area. So there's several properties within that boundary area. And the year that you put in the CRA, we'll call it CRA for short, the year that's implemented sets the base tax rate. Any increase in revenue or value after the base year is called tax increment revenue funding.
Okay.
So that area is already generating revenue. As the soccer stadium gets built up that land's going to be worth more money, right?
Right.
So it's going to generate more revenue. As a hotel comes in, as retail comes in, more buildings get built, generate revenue based on a higher value.
Okay.
So the revenue generation has to be utilized to go back into the community redevelopment agency.
Okay.
So it keeps funding itself for improvements. It can't be used for any other part of the city. It can't be used for parks. It can't be used for anything other than what is being redeveloped in that area. So the soccer stadium is eligible for up to $27.5 million over a 20-year period for a reimbursement out of the Community Redevelopment Fund. So it's literally whatever revenue is generated from them improving or
Right.
any other improvements is paying for itself.
Gotcha.
If for some reason there's not enough funding in there, they're not going to get the money. Because
Gotcha.
the council has to vote on it every single year.
Okay.
And it won't start until a year after the stadium is already operational.
Okay.
There's also issues, people had concerns about traffic. Well, US 1's a 6-lane divided highway.
Yeah.
Most of the games will be on Saturday nights. It won't interfere with, PM hour, AM hour traffic, people going from work to and from work. It won't.
How big is the stadium? How many thousand?
6,000 seat stadium. Yeah.
And what's the average mid-Florida event there that they can host? Like what, a couple thousand or 3,000?
So our two biggest events are Freedom Fest and Festival of Lights at Christmas time, and we get anywhere between 10 to 15,000 people.
So it's already been getting bombarded.
Yes.
4th of July and yeah.
And as that area builds up with hotels, then we're going to lose that space that we currently have. So we want to be able to move those events into the stadium.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're on board with, letting the city utilize it when it's not in use and all that stuff too.
Yeah, it's in the contract that they have to give us 24 days. They've already partnered with the school district.
Nice.
Which is great because, as you know, the graduations, you have to go all the way up to the fairgrounds now.
Yep.
And that's a hassle for a lot of people. And it's pretty far for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So to be
And
able
traffic
to,
sucks out there.
Yeah. Yeah, because you got a two lane road. So they really want to be embedded in the community, the ownership group. So they're actually sponsoring Freedom Fest this year.
Wow.
Our event.
Yeah, I met this CEO or CFO. I met them at one of the EDC events.
Yeah. Yep.
And my family, like my wife's Brazilian, and like their whole. I mean, I think soccer's a big deal. I think it's one of the bigger sports that's coming to our country, really, because we're late to the game with it.
We are late to the game. It's, if you think about it, it's the number one universal sport in the entire world.
In the world,
right? Yep. There's an academy, a school called RPS Academies.
Yep.
You familiar with them?
Sandhill or not?
Oh, we're at Sandpiper.
Sandpiper, yeah.
Yeah. So I just went to their high school graduation, and they have kids going to D1 schools for golf, tennis, soccer, and volleyball. And these kids are amazing. And they actually were hosting the Haitian team, the World Cup Haitian team, to do practices there.
To prep for the World Cup. Yeah.
Prep for the World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that facility is nice. I actually had my high school prom there.
Oh, really?
So and then I got to be a part of the company that was redeveloping it, renovating the facility to help them with the pool, digging the pool. They couldn't keep the water down, so we came in and kind of got it taken care of for them really quick.
Awesome.
But that whole area, I mean, it's cool to see it redeveloped.
Yeah, it is.
And then the fields, the plan for it is cool too. I think somebody said like the owner of NVIDIA is like partners in it or something. But no, I like everything. I mean, I'm on board with everything, and I don't ever get involved in the stuff on social media because I'm like I'm born and raised here, so like
right.
I-95 goes north, but.
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. People don't understand the processes by which we have to follow, the laws, the partnerships. Anything we do has multiple agencies involved most of the time. They don't understand that the developers were given the property rights 20 years ago and that they have the right to construct what was given to them in those entitlements. A lot of people don't like hearing that anymore, but that's real. I mean, I can't stop no matter how much I want to be able to play catch up with all this infrastructure, especially the way our city was formed, I can't take those rights away. It would be illegal for me to take those rights away. And then we'd be in lawsuits up the wazoo. And then we'd have to spend taxpayer dollars on lawsuits. I don't think anyone wants us to do that. Yeah. We should be spending our money, our taxpayer dollars, on things that benefit our citizens. So that's people don't understand that we had the original city, and then we had St. Lucie West 30-something years ago, and now Tradition area, 23 years ago now.
Slowly just kind of got pieced on and added on, but I think with Southern Grove and Tradition and all that stuff, the planning and preparation for the growth, because, I mean, people want to move here. People want to come here. The growth is inevitable.
Yes.
And, the two kind of surrounding counties are starting to see that they got to get on board too, because if we have one of the safest cities in the nation and one of the most beautiful places, I think, in my opinion, then of course people are going to keep coming here, and it's going to have to get built up. Absolutely. What about a future access to the beach? So
that's a great question. That's not possible here
ever?
Because we don't own any land that could connect.
Gotcha.
The land that could connect is owned by the county.
Okay.
And they would have to take up that decision to do. We did a feasibility study several years ago, and we realized we don't have the land.
Yeah.
And we literally turned the report over to the county and said, hey, if you want to do this, here's the feasibility study of it. And that was pretty much the end of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't, either way. Sometimes I go to Jupiter to go to the beach, but.
Yeah. Du Bois Park.
That's it.
Yeah, it's nice there.
I do love it. You got to get there early, though.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I haven't gone down there yet. I've been there to see the lighthouse.
Yep.
Because I've gone to the Jupiter Lighthouse and love that. But, yeah, I know.
So talk about for you and kind of your personal, because, I mean, like you said, a lot of folks got stuff to say, but, and you took it upon yourself instead of saying what needs to happen from your couch. You got involved and you became a part of the change. And so a lot of folks, I think, in my opinion, I think if they want to be a part of the change, be a part of the change if there is any. But talk about like the legacy and impact that you personally want to leave on not only this community, but on this earth.
I just want my legacy to be that I was a huge part of the significant changes that we needed to make in our community to make it great for our citizens and provide the best quality of life we can possibly provide for our citizens. When a park like Pioneer Park is done and you get to be able to walk through it before our residents get to see it and say, wow, look what we did here, right? And think about how many families and how many generations are going to enjoy this space. That's really stands out to me. That's what gets me emotional.
Yeah, the fact that you had a hand in it. And because you see a vision come to life and a culmination of people coming together. Like that's part of like with development with me. Like I see it done. Like I see the finished project and same thing. Like, we joke around because what I do is like, underground utilities. Like you can't drive by and be like, hey, I laid the pipe over there because you can't see it. It's underground, but it's still part of, something. And then like the dirt or whatever, like, oh, we graded it. We made it look good, but nobody ever looks at that. Mm-hmm.
When residents will say, this park is so great, I love it. My family enjoys it. My kids had a great time. I got to spend time with my kids. That's everything.
Memories, you can't buy that.
That's right. You can't take anything with you but memories.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you obviously are very, into everything that you do. I mean, it's you and your husband both. You guys are both care about more than just yourself. So I see that, and I guess talk about a little bit about what's coming up with the election. You're on the next ballot, correct?
Yes. There will be a primary election in August because there are two other people that are running for mayor besides me. Mm-hmm. Qualified yesterday. So now we're in it.
I saw that was on Facebook. Yeah, last night was the.
Yeah. So I had a fundraising event last night as well. And it was great. It was an amazing turnout. Yeah. And grateful to Kyle G to open up the restaurant and
where was that at?
Oak and Ember.
Awesome.
Becker Road. So we had probably about 150 people in the room. So that support was great. Sheriff Del Toro
Yeah,
gave me his full endorsement. I've known Rich for 20 years. Great guy.
definitely. I see him at church all the time.
The partnership between, especially since him coming from and leading our Port St. Lucie Police Department, and now having Chief Leo, who's great, and them working together so closely for so many years. Now the partnership between our Sheriff's Department and Police Department is stronger than ever.
Yeah,
So that was awesome, and very grateful for his support and all the electeds that were there that support me, and all the citizens that were there that support me, and the businesses in the community, because I love our city. I'm super passionate about it. I'm going to continue to be passionate about it, and I just want to keep doing great things to move our city forward with the team.
Right.
'Cause it's not about me. It takes an entire team in order to get things done, and community partners as well. County Commission, we have the best relationship with the County Commission we've ever had. It wasn't so great, but when I became mayor, I said, you know what? Whatever little snippets we may have with each other, that's got to go by the wayside, because
Yeah.
we're not going to get things done unless we are, in alignment, because we all serve the same people,
yeah,
right? We elect our county commissioners, and 65% of the vote is Port St. Lucie.
yeah.
So we have to work together better, and I've been really focused on that as well.
Would you say it has gotten better?
Absolutely gotten better.
Yeah.
There's definitely more alignment. It's always a work in progress, right?
Yeah.
Because there are different priorities to a degree, but the communication has gotten better. I can call any one of them, sit down with them, have conversations anytime. Commissioner Fowler, who's the chair, her and I have quarterly meetings with the city manager and her county administrator to talk about issues, and it's been great. It's really gotten much better, and I'm really proud of that.
So what's next for you?
Next 4 years, keep building on our future, keep enhancing our quality of life. Infrastructure, super important. Can be continued holding the developers accountable for their obligations as well.
Yeah,
Which, there's a lot of crazy talk. Council members, get funded. They're lining their pockets. They're doing all this. It's so not true.
yeah,
But they are community partners. They do have development rights. So we have to work with them.
that's it.
And we're going to work with them. We're going to hold them accountable. I do hold them accountable. I've sat on the dais and say no several times. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that, where I have the leeway to do so, because it's about working together and
Yeah.
figuring out what the win-win is for everybody, to the best we can. So, for everyone who doesn't like them, I understand why, because they don't like change, but this is the reality of where we are. They have
That's
the
it.
rights, but we have to work together. So we're going to continue to do that. I'm excited for what's going to happen in the next 4 years. In the
Yeah,
city.
I'm excited to see the growth. I mean, it's like you said, no matter what happens, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Because it's inevitable if people want to move here,
But with my knowledge and experience, I'm at the point where no one's getting over on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You've been in it.
I've
Yeah,
been
that's
in
it. There's
you're not going to come in and try to sugarcoat things and try to twist things, because I see right through it right away.
yeah,
And it's just based on learning, that's what happens. That's normal.
yeah,
But staff doesn't get things over on me, and no one else does either, because I can see right through it when something's coming at me.
yeah,
So, and I have that knowledge and experience, and I'm all about getting results. Nothing sitting on a shelf for the sake of sitting on a shelf. The plan, if we're going to do the plans, if we're going to say something is important and make it a priority, I'm going to make sure it happens. So I like to say, if I make a promise, I'm going to make sure that promise is kept, or else I won't make a promise.
yeah. What would you say your favorite thing is about City of Port St. Lucie?
I would say, believe it or not, our people.
Yeah,
We have great people. And for all the negativity that you have, whenever there's a problem, whenever there's an issue, our people step up to the plate and help each other out. And also, we are a very diverse community as well.
mm-hmm.
And we don't have issues like other cities have, right? The way we were formed is that everybody lives in harmony together. no matter what color you are, no matter what creed you are, no matter what religion you are. And we have been ranked one of the two most integrated cities in the entire nation. Only Port St. Lucie and Colorado Springs, Colorado share that distinction.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
It was a study done by the University of California at Berkeley.
Wow.
And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful.
I love it.
That's what we want to be.
I love
right?
all the different cultures, and I love going to different places to get the food. I mean, I was born and raised in Fort Pierce, so it's like and that's what Florida is. I mean, South Florida is. I mean, that's it. So the diversity is amazing, and the fact that, like you said, I think there's something about the Treasure Coast in general that just there's something special that goes on here, and for me personally, like, who wouldn't want to spend their life with around people who are good people, have good hearts, like, want to help people.
Right.
Like you said, like about the trash thing. There's a buddy of mine that went and helped somebody take trash out for free because they couldn't afford it or whatever. So like, just people wanting to give the shirt off of their back to help their neighbor.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm proud to say that I live here now, and
awesome.
and I love what's been going on. People are going to say what they want to say, but I think that you guys have structured the growth in a good way to prepare for it. There's everything going west, and the fact that you have some of the biggest companies in the United States that want to be here. I mean, that says something too.
Yeah, that came out of our strategic plan from 2014, because the cry at that time from the residents was, I can't work here. I can't work in Port St. Lucie.
The median income was like, what, 30-something thousand?
Yeah, back then.
And people were driving to south. All my family,
That's right.
They were driving south to work in West Palm Beach.
And when you do that, you take your money with you, right?
Yep.
Because you're gassing up down there. You're eating lunch out there or dinner out there, depending on if you're on shift work, right? You're spending your money in another county, and that county gets the benefit of it. That's what we want you to be able to work here in Port St. Lucie. And the jobs corridor, that was another remarkable achievement, because we figured that would take 20 years to build out. And in just 7 years, we have, of 1,200 acres, we have 51 acres left, 3 parcels of land.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, all those great companies that are out there paying above the median wage in St. Lucie County.
Yep.
So it's great to have people be able to work right here in our city.
Yeah.
Between the healthcare sector and the manufacturing, distribution sector, logistics.
Has there been interest in more on the business side? I mean, obviously, I don't think there's ever going to be like a New York City or a Miami where there's high rises, but has there been more interest in the business sector?
Business, in what kind of way?
I guess you would say in the folks that that are in the high rises.
No, there hasn't really been interest in that, except for at Walton and One, with changing the density for multifamily to be able to go up
Is there a possibility for some high rise stuff going on over
in
there?
that area. Yes.
Okay.
We actually voted on that and made an exclusion for that area to be able to have that higher density.
Okay.
Especially because if you want to be able to have a walkable destination where you could get something to eat, live, get entertainment, that's the goal for the Walton and One area for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far out is that still?
So the stadium will start this fall, and then we expect to see the spinoffs when people know that it's actually coming out of the ground. We definitely expect to get spinoffs from that, because we're already getting inquiries from hoteliers and other development as well, to see what that looks like. So
Okay.
that'll be all pieced together. We have a consultant on board helping us with that, who's done many other community redevelopment projects around the entire country, and our redevelopment director. So all that's is in process. It's just, how long these deals take to get done. I mean, 2 years to get the soccer stadium, each Tamco and Cheney and Amazon, all that in process, economic development wise, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And then construction, we know how long that takes, about a year. With the warehouses, they're faster,
Yeah.
because they can do the tilt-up walls and stuff, but still a year.
Yep.
So everything takes time, as you know. So, but it's going to happen,
Yeah.
and that will be great too, because that's one of the things with regard to Walton and One. We've had so many issues with those parcels out there. To be able to see that come to fruition.
Talk about that too, because I don't think a whole lot of people know exactly what happened out there.
So
It used to be just for fun when I was a kid. It was like there was like a indoor playground there next to the Bell's Outlet, and then yeah.
So a developer called DeGuardiola owned all those parcels, and it was supposed to be, it was master planned for exactly what I said, mixed use, right? But then with the Great Recession, that ended, and that company went defunct, and then the bank took it back from DeGuardiola, those parcels, and sold it to that Chinese businesswoman, Lily Zong. And then she started doing lots of illegal things with getting investment money, and was supposed to be.
She like disappeared, right?
Yeah, and she
off the
disappeared.
face of the earth, and nobody found her.
And then the Securities and Exchange Commission learned of her dealings, and she was arrested, and she was sued, and they had to pay back investors, and that process, dealing with the SEC and how that would work, that took several years to deal with. And then we got right of first refusal for the land to come back to the city, because all those properties were underwater. They were underwater with taxes as well. So that was another reason why that those parcels couldn't be developed by anyone. No one was going to take on all that debt. So by the city finally getting it, we paid $500,000 for the 22 parcels. We were able to work with the county and the tax collector and the school district to wipe the taxes away, the old taxes, and start from zero. And like I said, we've been holding on to that. And we never had an attractor all this time. So really, the soccer stadium is the attractor or the catalyst needed in order to really bring forth.
How did they come in? They came in and just were interested in the area?
Yeah, so United Soccer League is been building for several years, and they've gotten lots of investor partners to build soccer stadiums. That is the feeder to the real professionals that go into the World Cup for several years, and they go into mid-sized cities. So they selected Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
And we've been at many conventions, our EDC, Economic Development. They go to all those conventions for business and economic development. So I think that's how they learned of Port St. Lucie, and obviously knowing that we're the fastest growing. And so for them, we really fit that mold of that mid-sized city. And so they approached the Economic Development Council, and then they brought it through us through that process that we go through. And like I said, that was a 2-year process, because we had to make sure that financially they could do it. We had to make sure that we weren't going to be backstopping any debt like was done with Digital Domain and Torrey Pines. We were never going to let that happen again.
Yeah.
So it took that long in order to get them to this point now, because we wanted to make sure that our citizens were protected first and foremost.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you coming in. We had an awesome conversation.
Yeah, I love it. I could talk all day.
Yeah.
So.
What else do you have to say to the folks? More, I guess, for the city is going to be watching this. What else you got to say?
Just I would love it. It would be so great. Get involved. We do City University program. It's a 6-week free course that you learn all about the different departments, how we interact with our tax collector, our property appraiser, our county government. You learn about all the city departments and how that they operate. You also get to go on field trips. You get to go see a water treatment plant. You get to get a presentation by our police department. We want more people involved. We want more people to learn about our city government. Then you become an ambassador of the city to go out and talk to your friends, neighbors, and relatives about what's going on.
Yeah.
So that more people have more factual knowledge about what's happening, as opposed to just listening to whatever they hear in the social media.
I think education's important.
It is. Communication and education is so important. And just, I'm so committed to our city, and I'm committed to making sure that we thrive and we keep providing a great quality of life. And that's what I want to do in the future for the next 4 years.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Anything you need from me to help the mission of the city or anything, obviously, I'm willing to help out in any possible way as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
And thank you for coming again.
Yeah, it's been great.
And guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode of the Discipline Legacy podcast.